Dominic from Florida is calling in. Dominic, thanks for calling. What is your age and pronouns, please?
I'm 18. My pronouns are he, him.
Okay, Dominic, what were you calling in to talk about today?
I'm calling in to discuss that trans men and women are not men and women, and I have more than justifiable enough defense to prove this.
Oh, I can't wait. Dominic, before we move on with the conversation, can you please define man and women for me?
Would you like me to give you the actual definition or the definition?
I'd like whichever definition you use to make your arguments.
A man is a biological form factor that is born with a penile shaft and born with high levels of testosterone. A woman is a being born that has high levels of estrogen and has a uterus in between their legs.
Well, uteruses aren't between the legs, but I'll take your word for it that that's where they are now.
Well, vagina.
Okay, so just really quickly, I'm wondering then, I think this is going to be a fun call. So per your definition of man and women, male dogs would be men, female dogs would be women. Is this correct?
Yes.
Yes. That was a yes. So animals would be men and women per your definition.
Animals would be male and female, which are the...
Sorry, your definition of man... Your definition of man, biological form factor, born with penile shaft and high levels of testosterone, that would be any male
but
on the
when
planet.
It comes to animals, you don't use the same context.
Sorry. No. I'm sorry. That's not how definitions work. I asked you to define what a man is. That was your definition. You can walk it back.
Yes,
Or do we want to move? Do you want to change your definition?
A female dog.
Do we want to change your definition already, Dominic? It's been 2 minutes. Do you already want to change your definition?
I'm not changing my definition. I'm telling you
okay, then per your definition, male dogs are men, male whales are men. A male of literally any species would be a man.
Yes.
Yes, so you believe that dogs are men. Dogs are men and women. Yes, you do.
Exactly. They are either of the male or female subspecies.
I didn't say male or female subspecies, and that's also subspecies.
But that's
sex
what
is not a subspecies.
Means,
no, Dominic. What happened here, Dominic, is, and this is so funny to me, is you came up here very confident that you would have a logical thing here, but your logic has failed already.
Well, your logic. Explain my logic because you've been
Dominic. If your own definition of the word can't hold up to logical scrutiny, why would I listen to the rest of your argument?
Okay. So per my definition, yes. Any animal with a penile shaft is a man, and any animal with a vaginal shaft is a female.
Okay, great. So when we write laws that say men get these sort of privileges, you think dogs should be granted those privileges too?
No, because dogs are not.
Why would they not? It doesn't matter. It's not about being human. It's about men. You think they're men.
Okay, I came here to prove that gender identity is a mental disorder. I didn't come here to
argue. I think the true mental disorder is not being able to give a coherent definition of the word man.
I gave you a coherent definition.
Dominic, that is not a coherent definition of the word man. You're telling me animals are men and women. That's not that you instantly are not coherent, Dominic. Sure. What I want from you is a syllogism. P1, P2 conclusion for your argument. Go ahead.
Okay. I have the whole conclusion right here in front of my face.
I want the syllogism.
Definition of gender. The second definition of gender is sex, correct? Now let's scroll down a little bit. Gender identity. For many non-binary
What's the first
people,
definition of gender?
Sorry.
What's the first definition of gender?
Security and ease of mind.
Dominic. Sorry. What's the first definition of gender? Why are we just going to the second?
I don't know, a subclass within grammatical class, such as a noun, adjective, or verb of a language that is partially arbitrary but distinguishes characteristics such as shape, social rank, manner of existence, or sex.
Sorry, which dictionary are you using for this?
Merriam-Webster.
Okay, you're using the Merriam-Webster definition of gender. Sure, let's pull it up. Gender. Sex, sense, and then what is B? What is B? You used A. What's 2B?
The behavioral, cultural, psychological traits typically associated with one's sex.
And what's 2C?
2C is gender identity.
Oh, and what's gender identity defined as?
Does that definition of gender identity not scream mental disorder to you? For many non-binary
Hold on. I'm sorry.
documents reflect their true gender, offers security and ease of mind.
I'm sorry.
It offers an ease to their mind because thinking about having it in between
Stop.
their legs
You don't understand how definitions work. You only want to use 2A, but 2C defines gender as a gender identity, which they then later define as a person's internal sense of being male, female, or some combination of male, female, or neither male, female. Now you're saying it's a mental illness. What academic or medical research do you have to show that it's a mental illness?
What do I have to show that it's a mental illness? So because you weren't comfortable with either having
it's not what I asked.
In between your legs.
Sorry, you already failed the question. Dominic, you already failed the question.
You got it.
You already failed the question. I asked what medical or academic research do you have? Because unfortunately, you don't get to decide what are mental illnesses, right? You are not the arbiter of mental illnesses, right? Actually, if we want to talk about like what is the arbiter of mental illnesses, it would be the American Psychological Association. Right, they are who define what mental illnesses are in our country, especially, and they have said outright that being trans is not linked to any sort of mental illness known to man. So, Dominic, I'm going to ask you again because clearly you know. Stop. Sorry. Okay, great. You said it's on what evidence, either academic or medical, do you have to prove this, or are you just talking out your ASS?
I'm going to give you the definition of gender affirmation, which is.
I don't want the That's not what I want. I know you can't keep up. It's not the question I asked you. That's not the question I asked you. It's not the question that I asked you. It's not what I asked you for.
But it's answering the question.
I asked you for, and I'm going to say it again.
I'm trying to give you the answer
or medical research. I want academic or medical research. I don't want a definition. I want academic research or medical research.
What is gender affirmation? It's the process of recognizing, respecting, and validating a certain person's gender identity. And identity is somebody's mental construction of themselves.
Not what I asked for.
Right?
Damn, we're still not giving me what I asked for. We're still not giving me what I asked for. That's embarrassing.
What are we talking about? If you're not
that is embarrassing. So here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna ask you one more time. Okay? Maybe you'll be able to provide it. I want academic research or medical research that backs up your claim that it's a mental illness. I don't want your research. I don't want the research of an 18-year-old. I don't want the research of an 18-year-old who can't define man in a relevant and coherent way. I want academic or medical research that backs up the claim it's a mental illness. Can you provide that?
I'm literally providing that to you.
You're not.
I am.
A definition is not academic research.
Okay,
do I need to define what research is to you?
You have to affirm to somebody that them being transgender is okay and stuff like that.
This isn't research. This isn't research. To affirm
somebody about
that's not research. That isn't research, you fucking idiot.
People off when they prove their point.
You're not proving shit because you're not providing research, you 18-year-old clown.
I have it pulled up in front of my fucking face and I'm reading it to you.
What is the research? Telling me what gender affirmation is not research, you fucking idiot. I'm asking you to provide some sort of, do you have a study? Do you have maybe a medical textbook that backs up your claim? Do you have something that tells me that this is a mental illness? The question is very simple, and the fact that you can't figure it out is fucking embarrassing. You should still either be in high school or have left it very recently. If I wrote a paper in biology class and in the citation I just wrote because I said so, they would fucking laugh me out of class. I'd get an F. So can you provide a citation at all from an academic or medical source? Fucking shit, dude.
No, I can't.
Great. So the claim, it's a mental illness.
Research.
No, the claim it's a mental illness is a bunk claim. Thank you. You can't provide evidence for it. Therefore, it's a bunk claim.
I'm trying to provide you the evidence. It's my own research, not somebody else's research. I researched it myself to get my information. You're not letting me explain it with my own research. So how are we going to get farther?
Thank
You want me to give you
Dominic,
another doctor's
truthfully-
research or another person's
Truthfully,
research?
Dominic, I'm going to mute you for a second. I need to thank a few people here. Okay. First of all, I want to thank the Academy. I want to thank my parents for always believing in me. I want to thank researchers everywhere because Dominic, the 18-year-old, apparently found what you couldn't find for years and years that you've been searching, but Dominic figured it out. Thank you to all of my fans. You've made this performance possible. Dominic, I'm trying to provide you my research for it. Dominic, give me just a very simple syllogism for your argument. If you don't know what a syllogism is, I can tell you. I have a feeling you don't. But I just want a P1, P2C for a syllogism. I don't want to hear anything else.
Give me the definition, please, just so I can have a.
So a syllogism is an argument. It's a form of laying out an argument. You have a premise 1, a premise 2, and then a conclusion.
Okay.
Base level
my
argument.
My premise one is when you look at definition 2, subclass B, the behavioral, cultural, or psychological traits typically associated with one sex. Psychological has to do with the brain and how the brain functions, correct?
I'm sorry, syllogisms don't have questions in them. If that's P1, what's P2?
Okay, so P2 is gender identity. Now, that C definition, right, for many non-binary people, having important documents reflect their true gender offers security and ease of mind. It's easing their mind because there's something about their gender they don't feel comfortable with because they are mentally thinking about that thing, right?
Wrong.
Gender, no, it's not.
Wrong.
Gender affirmation is the process of recognizing, respecting, and validating an individual's identity or gender identity. Particularly when it differs from their sex at assigned birth.
Dominic, you don't understand the words you read, do you?
I do. I have an
don't.
IQ of 211.
No, you don't.
I finished high school very early.
No,
actually.
you didn't. Dominic, Dominic, one of your claims here is that psychological has to do with the mind. Does psychological inherently mean mental illness?
Psychological does not mean mental illness, but psychological
Great,
means something or a trait that affects
beautiful.
somebody's mind.
Great, beautiful. Are emotions psychological, Dominic?
Yes, emotions are psychological.
Dominic, if you stop, Dominic, stop, Dominic, stop, Dominic. That's not how dialogue trees work. That's not how dialogue trees work. Dominic, if you were to tell me I'm sad and I affirmed that sadness with you, am I affirming a psychological part of you?
Yes.
Do you have a mental illness? Is being sad a mental illness, Dominic?
Being sad, too much can be considered depression.
I didn't ask about too much.
It's a mental illness.
I didn't ask about depression. I said just being sad. Is that a mental illness, Dominic?
Being sad too much, yes, can be considered a mental illness.
I didn't say too much, Dominic. I said just being sad. If you can't answer the question directly, I'm not asking you to answer some new question that you made up. Is just being sad, Dominic, a mental illness?
No.
But I have to affirm a psychological part of you. Doesn't that make it bad? Doesn't that make it a mental illness? Because I'm affirming some psychological aspect?
But does affirming what somebody thinks in their mind about themselves and how they appear physically, is that at all the same?
Dominic, you're so stupid. Dominic, let me ask you a question. And maybe you just don't know. Dominic, could you tell me, what does it mean to be trans?
What does it mean to be trans?
Yeah, maybe you just don't know.
I don't
maybe
know.
That's
to
what's happening.
Associate yourself with the opposite gender of which you were assigned at birth.
What is gender, Dominic?
Gender is the subclassification of sex.
So gender is a subclass of sex.
Gender is a subclass of sex. Yes. A subclass produced by people's immorality to wanting to have certain parts on their body.
I'm sorry. You think gender supports immorality? Holy fuck, Dominic. I pray. First of all, thank you for this fucking comedic.
First of all,
this has made my day. I have been dealing. Dominic, you've not proven shit wrong, Dominic.
I've given you everything
Dominic.
that says that everything about gender affirmation and gender identity all links back to the brain. Are you
Dominic,
just a stupid faggot?
something. There we go, Dominic. If you slur again, you will be removed from the stream. Okay. I don't give a shit that you called me the F slur. I don't care. If you do it again, you'll be removed from the stream. Right now, what you're doing is you think that if you slur enough, I'll kick you. And then you can go, see, he just kicked me and I won the conversation. So now you know if you do it again, so now you know, Dominic, if you do it again, you will be kicked. So we will know if you do it again, you're running. Got it? Now we know that if you do it again, you're going to try to run from the conversation. Okay? So, Dominic, when it comes to mental illnesses, who classifies mental illnesses in the United States?
I have no clue.
The American Psychological Association.
Okay.
They are a group of what, Dominic? What is the APA?
Doctors.
Specifically, what type of doctors?
Psychologists.
Correct. Dominic, you're learning. Now, Dominic, I just want to confirm, do you think a group of psychological professionals, right, might have a bit more insight into what in fact, actually, let's take it back even simpler. Dominic, what is a mental illness?
What is a mental illness?
Yep. How is it classified medically? Oh, I hear the typing. So what we're finding out is that, Dominic, you're claiming it's a mental illness, but don't even know what a mental illness is.
Wait a minute.
Ooh.
I only looked it up to confirm that my definition was going to be right, because
Sure
I like
you
to
did.
confirm my facts before I start spitting them out of my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
A mental illness is a health condition that significantly disrupts a person's thinking, emotions, mood, and behavior, making it difficult to cope with daily life, work, or relationships. Now, how does that tie into gender identity and the fact that trans men and women are not men and women?
It doesn't, Dominic.
And that gender identity
Dominic,
is
a person who is
mental
trans, how does being trans how does it disrupt their thinking?
Do you really want to go there?
I would like you to answer the question, yeah.
Okay, there are a number of different things that can affect a trans person's thinking. That's not what I
asked. That's not whoa. That's not what I asked. Dominic, it's not what I asked. Dominic, it's not what I asked. Dominic, that's not what I asked. I asked, how does being trans disrupt their feelings? Not because someone calls them slurs, right? That's an outside influence.
What disrupted their feelings to begin with to make them want to be trans? That's the question.
So do you think people wake up and decide one day I am trans? Is that how you think being trans works? That's embarrassing.
What the hell else? How else would it work? You're not trans when you're born because you're given an assigned thing. You're given an assigned sex. You're given an assigned gender.
Dominic,
what you just said proves my basis.
Dominic, you not understanding how gender identity works is not my issue here, bro.
Gender identity. What is an identity?
Dominic, when did you decide? When did you decide not? Dominic, when did you decide? Dominic, when did you make the choice to not be trans? When did you decide that?
When did I make the choice to not be trans? When I learned that I don't want to chop my balls off and put a coochie in there when I can't.
So
have
when
kids.
was that, Dominic?
When I was a baby.
So you, as a baby, knew about chopping off penises.
Not
no,
baby,
yeah, exactly. That would be
that
would be a stupid thing to say. So I'm going to ask the question
Probably
again, and maybe you can answer it smartly this time. I know that's difficult for you, Dominic. What age were you when you decided to not be trans? What was that age?
I'll throw an age out there. 12.
So prior to being 12, you didn't know you were a boy? What were you? What did you think you were?
Prior to being 12, I knew I was a boy because in school.
No. Whoa. Stop. I asked you when you knew you weren't trans. You were saying it was 12, which means prior to 12, you didn't know if you were trans or not. So you wouldn't have known if you were a boy or not, Dominic. So what?
No,
so 12,
I did know I was a boy because of my birth certificate. It shows the.
You read your birth certificate at 12.
Birth.
So wait, when did you read your birth certificate?
When I was 12, when I got.
So you didn't know you were a boy until you read your birth certificate. So prior to reading your birth certificate,
I was a boy before that. But
how did you know you were a boy?
It makes no sense.
Dominic, how do you know you're a boy?
How do I know I'm a boy? Because there's a dick and balls hanging from in between my legs, and my body produces an excessive amount of testosterone.
Dominic, how did you know you were a boy before you knew what a dick and balls were, Dominic?
How did I know I was a boy before I knew what a dick and balls was? I didn't, because most human brains don't develop enough to understand stuff like that until the age of 8.
So what were you, Dominic? What were you?
What was I? A man.
You were a man before you were 12?
I was a man before I was 12 because per my sex given at birth, when the doctor looked at my penis and balls and saw that it was there, was male.
Dominic, I'm sorry. Are all males men?
All males are men. Yes.
Are all females women?
All females are women. Correct.
So you think a 5-year-old female is a woman?
Yes. Do I think a 5-year-old female is a grown woman? No.
Woman, what, Dominic, you can't even formulate coherent definitions. And so you don't realize how you've walked
The
yourself into the
definition of a
dumbest
woman
fucking...
is literally the same as the definition of a female and the
Based
same
on
as the
what?
definition of
Based
a girl.
on what? Based on what? Based on what dictionary?
They're all they're all the same.
I'm sorry. Okay, hold on. Let's go to Merriam-Webster real quick. Let's go to Merriam-Webster. I'm just going to type in, because that's a definition you like, right? I'm going to type in female into Merriam-Webster and read what definition they present me, okay? Let's do female, of relating to or being the sex that typically has the capacity to bear or produce young, or to produce eggs. Now, what's their definition of woman? Let's see what that definition is. An adult female person or a woman, or a woman who is a woman belonging to a particular category. Those aren't the same definition. Those are two different sets of words that mean two different things. Maybe I read it wrong. Let me read it again. So female was of relating to or being the sex that typically has the capacity to bear or produce young, or it can be having a gender identity that is opposite of male, or it can be made up of usually adult members of the female sex, or it can be characteristics of girls, women, or the female sex. And then woman is an adult female person, a woman belong. Those aren't the same. These aren't the same definition. If they're the same words, why are the definitions different? I'm so confused, Dominic. You said they were the same thing.
They are.
Then why are the definitions different?
Who knows?
Who knows? Certainly not the 18-year-old. Let's check the next thing. Dominic.
Love dissing people, but when they diss you back, you got everything else to say.
Dominic, I don't give a fuck if you diss me. Diss me. All I told you to do was not use slurs. I don't go insult me whatever way you want. I don't give a fuck, Dominic. I'm not a baby. I'm not a child. You insulting me means nothing. You are quite literally nothing to me. Say whatever you want about me. I don't care, Dominic. Now let's go. Let's continue, Dominic. My question to you. Do you think the category of woman is an exclusionary category?
Is a what?
Exclusionary category.
It could be, yes.
It could be. In what way could it be?
Because woman could be classified as a female in general, or a grown woman, a
Right.
grown female, a grown girl who is up.
Dominic, do you need to know what the word exclusionary means? Should I tell you that? Because you didn't answer the question I asked you.
Okay, tell me what exclusionary means, because I obviously know what it means to exclude something.
Okay, so does the category of woman exclude people?
It excludes men.
So it is an exclusionary category, Dominic. Way to go. Not it could be, it is, because you have a set of people that are excluded. Way to go, bucko. Now, Dominic, it's an exclusionary category. That means it has to have a necessary condition or trait that gets you access into that category. What is that trait, Dominic?
You said what?
In order for a category to be exclusionary, it must possess a necessary trait, something that you must possess as an agent to fit into that category. What is the necessary trait required to be a woman?
A vaginal canal and the ability to reproduce.
Okay, great. So the thing that is necessary, I'm going to repeat that word because it's really important here. The thing, and I wrote down your answer, so I can't get it wrong. The thing that is necessary to be a woman is having 1, a vaginal canal, and 2, the ability to reproduce. You must possess both of these things in order to be a woman. So,
Also
Dominic,
testosterone. I mean, not testosterone, estrogen.
Also estrogen.
Very high amount of estrogen.
Okay, and estrogen. You must possess all 3 of these things in order to be a woman, right?
You must also possess the specific chromosome orientation that you were assigned, which is either XX or XY. I believe XX is female. I'm
So,
not quite sure.
The 4 things you must possess that are necessary to be a woman are a vaginal canal. You must also have the ability to reproduce. You must also have a high level of estrogen. I don't know what high level means, but apparently you do. And you must have the specific chromosome orientation XX. Those 4 things are necessary and required for you to be considered a woman, correct?
Correct.
Great. Now, Dominic, let's say I have somebody who's a female born with vaginal agenesis, and they have no vaginal canal. What are they?
Correct.
What are they? They have no vaginal canal. What are they?
That means that they have no vaginal canal. That means that they are non-binary. They don't have
they are non-binary. So they have no vaginal canal, no ability to reproduce, but they do have estrogen and they do have XX chromosomes, but they are non-binary.
But they still contain everything else that is needed to produce a female.
Doesn't matter. You gave me 4.
Specifically,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I asked you what was necessary. You gave me 4 things. That means if any one of those things is lacking, you wouldn't be a woman. You have to have all 4. All 4 are necessary.
Incorrect.
Then those aren't necessary. Dominic, then, damn, Dominic. Damn, Dominic. Damn. Okay. So all of the other things didn't matter in the conversation. The only thing that matters is the chromosomes. So why even tell me the vaginal canal when, per your words just now, is the only thing that determines if you're a woman is the chromosomes.
Okay, but now,
so we spent 5 minutes with you giving me no, Dominic, that's not how this works. Dominic, that's not how this works. So now we know the only thing necessary to be a woman is chromosomes, and it's XX chromosomes. Is that correct?
The ability to reproduce and the other 2 things that I put on that list.
If I have somebody with XX chromosomes but they're sterile and they can't reproduce, are they a woman?
Yes.
Why?
Because their chromosomes are XX.
Great. So then have the ability to reproduce is not important. Thank you. Thank you. So now you know, Dominic, that the ability to reproduce is not necessary. It's the only thing that's necessary in your opinion is the XX chromosomes, because if anything else is missing, you go, well, they still have XX chromosomes. So that's the only thing necessary. Please, do I need to define necessary for you, Dominic? Like, God damn, it's not your turn to ask questions yet. Not yet. We're almost there. And then you can ask me whatever you want. Now, Dominic, we now know that it is necessary. It is necessary. The thing that is necessary to be a woman is to have XX chromosomes. Now, Dominic, if someone has Swyer syndrome and they're a female and they have XY chromosomes and they give birth, what are they?
I don't have an answer for that one.
You don't?
Can you give me a number? How many recorded cases?
Doesn't matter how many recorded cases there are. Any infrequency in a necessary condition breaks the necessary condition. I don't care how many cases there are. There could be one case. No, it wouldn't. That's not how necessary condition. Dominic, I'm going to cut you off. You're 18. I'm going to cut you off. You should know what the word necessary means. Necessary does not mean this is required unless it's not there. Nope. Necessary means necessary. I told you to remember the word, and I said it multiple times so you would remember the word necessary. If I say it's necessary to put chocolate chips in a chocolate chip cookie and you don't put the chocolate chips in it, it's not a goddamn chocolate chip cookie, Dominic. So the thing you said was necessary is XX chromosomes. You need that to be a woman. So here is report of fertility in a woman with a predominantly 46 XY karyotyping in a family with multiple disorders of sexual development. Okay, these are case studies of women who have XY chromosomes because, fun fact, the Y chromosome can appear in females. And not only can they have women, or do we have these women like this? They have not only gotten pregnant, but given birth. So what are they? Are they men or are they women?
And what's the other biological factor that plays into that?
There can, Dominic, all you're doing right now is you're shifting the goalpost for every analogy because you go, if I shift it, Dominic, that's literally a goalpost shift. Dominic, that's literally, I can demonstrate the goalpost shift if you want me to. I can demonstrate it. That's how much you goalpost shifted. I asked you what is necessary. When I said that someone doesn't have a vagina, you said that didn't matter because the only thing that truly mattered is the chromosomes. Now when I say they don't have the chromosomes, you said that doesn't matter because they have the vagina. Dominic, this is a goalpost shift if I've ever heard it. Dominic, that's called a goalpost shift. Dominic, that's the definition of shifting the goalpost. That is the definition of it, Dominic. You are taking the goalpost from here and moving it over here. And right now what you're doing is panicking because you realized, oh shit, I don't actually know enough about
panicking.
I don't
I'm
actually
not realizing shit.
Nobody's panicking. Yes, you are, Dominic. What you've realized here, Dominic, what you've realized here is that you don't know enough about human sexual development to have this goddamn conversation. Dominic,
I do.
No, you don't.
I do. You
No,
just
you don't,
told
Dominic.
Me, right? That there
you do not know enough about human sexual development.
But those females that have XY chromosomes that were giving birth still had vaginal canals and
Dominic,
produced high levels of
what
estrogen.
trait is the necessary trait, Dominic?
Factors has to maintain presence.
Then that is not Dominic. Here we've made a logical category error, Dominic. That is not a necessary condition. That's a sufficient condition. Sufficient condition. Dominic, I'm going to mute you really quickly, Dominic. That is not a necessary condition. At least one of many conditions means you're naming sufficient conditions. And fun fact, you do not have exclusionary categories off of sufficient conditions, Dominic. Thank you for playing. Have a good day. Embarrassing. Special shout out to my tier 4 members for making videos like this possible. Thank you Bamji, Koth, Lost Fox, Phoenix, Papa Snowflake, Wolfie, Emery Imogene, Divinity Dawn, Zurith Moonpaw, Ellie McReady, Ryan O'Connors, Kazim, Ryan Wright, Zeus, Elira the Free, Sylvia Snow, Paul D, Never Again, Ayla Ursus, Kelsey K, Jake Groshander, Matthew Holloway, Vampy, Yemye, Mealy, and Dragon Nerd. Thank you again.